Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hasani. Good to see you here with me. Wherever you're dialing in from around the world, I want to acknowledge you because we have a community that reaches all four corners of the earth who are all looking for healing and restoration. And this is the place where you come because this is the home of affair recovery and divorce prevention. And so if you've experienced challenges in your relationship, you want to meet us every single day so that we can empower you, that we can strengthen you, that we can encourage you to continue in your journey towards restoration. Listen, it is just me today, but we got to keep the show going. Number one, I want you to like, share, and subscribe. If this is the first time you're finding out about this show, you're going to know that there's a lot of information here that's going to help you on your path. But if you are a regular, but you haven't subscribed yet, or if you subscribe, but you haven't liked yet, when you click the like button, it means that you're pushing this further into the universe of YouTube, and it's helping the algorithm for the show to get out. So please go ahead and do that. Before we get started today, as you know, this is Love Month. 28 days of our love challenge, and we're excited about it. Each week we focus on something different. We go from love to romance to sex and to fun. We're going to be unpacking that every single day during this entire month. So tune in daily because we are unpacking love like never before. Today, we're talking about philia love or philia love or filial love. It's said many different ways, but exploring the essence of true friendship. We say that the foundation of every marriage should be friendship, and we're unpacking that today. But for those of you who are going through hell, you've been going through a struggle and you're looking for a way out, not of the way out of the marriage, but a way out of the situation that you're experiencing in the marriage, then you need to consider coming to our Last Chance Weekend. That's right, one is coming up February 21st through the 23rd. It is the place that you want to be because that's where healing comes to so many of the couples that we work with. I want to share with you, this is an oldie but goodie. From time to time, I'll share this. I thought it was so powerful because, you know, many people go to traditional counseling, traditional therapy, and oftentimes it does not work. When you look at the national statistics, the average couple only endures about 5 or 6 sessions before they quit and move on to another counselor or stop the process altogether. A high percentage of them quit after the second session. Is called premature termination. So they're convinced that it doesn't work, and so therefore they remain in that stuck place. But there's a higher probability of people who experience transformation if they've done some type of intensive, and that's why we offer what we offer. But it's best said when it's coming from someone who's gone through the experience. So listen to what this woman has to say about the difference between traditional therapy, which is what most people are used to, and the power of an intensive.
I'm saying, like, when you go to these therapists and counselors for these short increments of time, it's going to take you years to get to the point of moving forward because you're doing an hour a week or an hour twice a week. So you're actually torturing yourself to get to the point a year from now of where you're trying to be. It just doesn't make sense to pay $150, $250 an hour to sit with somebody for 45 minutes and not even you can't get your life out in 45-minute increments. After that 45 minutes, okay, let's schedule our next session. But then you got to deal with all that stuff that you couldn't get out in the 45 minutes into the next 45 minutes. It just doesn't make sense. Like this intensive, this makes sense. Like it just, you get everything out because it is intense. It's not for the faint of hearts. You're going 12, 14 hours a day, or longer. Because, you know, Hasani is willing to go as long as it needs to be. Whereas you going to a therapist for 45 minutes for once a week, it's just, it doesn't make sense. You're not going to accomplish what you want to get accomplished as fast as it needs to be accomplished because you're going to torture yourself. You're going to go through torture trying to get to something in a year that you can get through in this intensive. Like it is what it is. I've had a new reckoning of the money that we wasted going to these 45 increments and nothing changed. So you have to make a decision, just like you invest in everything else. So you want to buy a new car, you want to go to a concert. You need to think, do you want to invest in your relationship just as much?
Powerful, powerful. You invest in many things. You invest in vacations, you invest in rental properties, you invest in clothes and car, like everything. But do you take the time to truly invest in your marriage? Interestingly enough, many people don't make the investment because they don't think that they're going to get a return on that investment because it's too broken. We've been through too much. We've seen too much. I am not a believer. And so therefore, I'm not going to put my money where my marriage is. And so things get progressively worse. But let me tell you something. The level of peace, the level of healing and restoration that can come from doing an experience like this. And this is why we're doing this challenge, to be honest, guys. Like, we do challenges from time to time. And rather than treating this like any other year, where we take one day out of the year called Valentine's Day, which has a dark history, by the way, and celebrate our love, how about we live our love out loud? And not limit it to a day, not even limit it to a 28-day challenge. The purpose of the challenge is to quantum leap you, to propel you into a new lifestyle, a lifestyle that can really change the course of your relationship and how you do life together. So we're talking about love. So let's get into today's conversation. Today, we're talking about philia love. Now, once again, I'm going to do this. We covered these 8 types of love. We got agape, we have philusia, pragma, mania, eros, philia, storge, and ludus. Okay, different types of loves. We're no longer in the early phase. We're now transitioning into the middle phase. This is when your relationship is no longer new. Okay, it's not monotonous. It's not normal necessarily, but it's not in the beginning stages. So we went from ludus love, the playful love, to eros love, the passionate love, and now we're transitioning into philia love, which is really a friendship. And so by definition, philia love, it is a love of deep friendship, trust, and companionship. It is the love that forms strong bonds between close friends, teammates, or even communities. Philia is love built on mutual respect, shared values, and emotional support. It is the kind of love that makes friendships feel like family. Okay, this is critically important if you're going to have a long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationship. It's got to be more than just passion that gets you through, because passion, which is a strong, intensified emotion, it changes. As they say, feelings are fickle. Emotions ride a wave. There are seasons when it's high, there are seasons when it's low, but the friendship sustains you throughout the entire relationship. So we're talking about a form of affectionate friendship. And philia love is really comprised of 4 things. Number 1, it's mutual. It's give and take. It is not a one-way transactional interplay between 2 people where one receives and gives nothing back in return. Both receive. And that's what makes it a friendship. Because if you have a true friendship, don't you benefit from the friendship? Doesn't the other benefit from the friendship? When one of you ceases to benefit, over the course of time, they begin to feel taken for granted, taken advantage of, resentment builds in, and then at some point that friendship begins to break down. So one of the fundamental truths about philia love, friendship love, is that it has a mutual benefit. The next thing is it's intentional. And I think this is the difference between those earlier types of love. Like, if I'm strongly attracted to you, that wasn't a decision that I made. That is just a feeling that I felt. And that feeling drew me closer to you. That feeling made me begin to do things, right? To win your love, to win your heart, to woo you. But now, once those feelings begin to subside, or even if they remain, and we're entering now into a long-term committed relationship, there are certain rules, there are certain expectations, there's a certain lifestyle and level of commitment that goes along with it. And being intentional to cultivate that relationship is a decision that you have to make. And so this is what you're signing up for, because as you transition out of the dating season into committed courtship, it's important that you and your partner have working operational definitions of what that means. Likewise for engagement, and of course for marriage. How many people get married with no clear expectations? How many people get married not articulating what they want to get out of it, what roles they're going to play, how they're going to do life, and then they wind up in conflict. And because they can't seem to come into alignment, it compromises the integrity of the friendship. Does that make sense? So Philia love is intentional, it is mutual, but it is also loyal. Now, this is a huge one. Loyalty, not just in the sense of fidelity, I'm not going to step outside of my marriage, but loyal to you in good times and in bad. See, when you establish your vows with your spouse, many of the things that you said in sickness and in health, in poverty and in wealth, right? In good times and in bad times, there are going to be ups that you face and there are going to be downs. Now, when you're experiencing the ups, there's nothing like a true friendship, because with friendships, you can celebrate your wins and your friend genuinely feel good and happy about your particular experience. They're not hating, they're not envious, they're not jealous, they don't want what you have. They celebrate your win as if it's theirs. That's what a true friend is like. See, when I'm feeling down and I'm going through and things aren't well, I can go to my friend and my friend won't kick me to the curb. My friend won't judge me. My friend won't beat me while I'm down. My friend is going to be there to speak life into me and to encourage me and to remind me of who I am and to help pull me back up. That is the power of friendship. So in the context of marriage, we go through all types of seasons in life. We go through trials and tribulations and hardships. So whether it's a health concern, whether it's something happening on the job, whether I'm having issues with a family member or a friend, whether I'm dealing with levels of stress because of whatever the case may be, the things that are happening in the world, I've got to be able to know that I've got a safe space, someone that I can talk to, somebody that I can engage with, who will make me feel safe and secure and will give me what I need emotionally to feel like this is truly a love connection. So loyal to me, no matter how I may show up. When I'm my best self, when I'm my worst self, when I'm on top, when I'm on the bottom, when listen, you know, they say sometimes you can tell who your true friends are when you start to go through situations and circumstances. When all the money goes away, those who are still standing, those are the ones that I'll know they're my true friends. Because some people, as long as the faucet is running, they are there. But once that faucet dries up, they are out. And so really the situations that you go through can test friendships. Some people are in relationships solely because of what they can get out of it. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with marriage, it's not just about you. In fact, you are showing up in order to serve, because love at the end of the day is a giving word. It is what you give. For God so loved the world that he gave, right? He was the perfect model of love. He became the template that we should model. And so when you get married, you are giving of yourself. You are offering a portion of you or all of you to your partner, and that means in good times and in bad. And then the other part of Philia love, it's all about emotional intimacy. Now, those former two types of love, ludus and eros love, that is a physical passion. That is a sexual urge. That is a craving and a desire that brings about connection. We call that the language of attraction. Now that the attraction's there, we already know that it's there. What is going to allow us to sustain? There's got to be a foundation that undergirds the feeling that you're experiencing. And this is where the emotional connection comes into play. See, because friends truly know each other on a deep level. Now, one of the things that we always talk about is the importance of developing intimacy with your spouse, going beyond surface conversations, going beyond what you could typically have with a colleague at work, with a stranger that you see when you walk into a store, with someone that you may know, you're somewhat familiar with them and you have your light back and forth banter. There's got to be a deeper dive. Unfortunately, statistics say that the average couple in the US and in the UK engage in about 4 minutes of conversation a day. So there's no real depth. There's no real substance. In fact, most couples communicate to avoid. I want to avoid problems. I want to avoid the drama. I want to avoid the stress. So it's almost like, let's show up, have a quick conversation, figure out what we need to do, and boom, separate and go our separate ways. And now I can truly connect with my legitimate friends. Ideally, folks, your spouse should be your best friend. It's okay to have other friends. It's okay to have colleagues. It's okay to have a community that you're a part of. But your marriage, your spouse, should be the most powerful, intimate, committed, and loyal bestie friend that you have, because that's the person who can receive all of you. That person is supposed to represent your safe space. If I can't talk to Danielle, and I can't wait till this conversation is over, this transactional interaction, so that I can have a relational connection with someone else, that is a problem. Now, it's one thing if it's the same sex, because I got to talk to Jim because Danielle don't understand. Jim is a man. He gets me. It's another thing when all of a sudden my best friend or my close friend is a member of the opposite sex. I remember in one of our men's groups, one of the men came in at the very beginning of the program, and he was talking about his best friend. Now, he doesn't understand why his wife doesn't understand, and she just needs to get with the program, and it is what it is, what it is. My best friend is her name is Sherry. And people were like, your best friend is a female? How does that make your wife feel? Well, of course, the wife feels some type of way. Why? Even though they've had a long relationship prior to the marriage, the nature of that relationship, the nature of it, has to somewhat change now that this is your primary relationship. And this is why it's important that couples have conversations and set proper expectations and have rules of engagement for what opposite sex friends look like. Okay, so I'm not here to tell you that you can't have them, because many people have amazing opposite sex friendships, but you've got to have a mutual understanding of what that actually looks like. Because if your friend, your bestie's over here and you keep your spouse over here and these two worlds are separate, it can create problems. Because how does that, there's an expression, it says that isolation breeds ignorance. So if you keep the wife completely isolated from the friend, they're ignorant of what this connection is. Now assumptions start to be made, right? Now insecurities and suspicion and doubt begins to creep up because you're intentionally keeping your friend over here. And you know what, babe? Listen, I'm gonna get with you later, but now I'm gonna get with my friend. Like, huh? What? Now we have a problem on hands. And so sometimes we're not aware that these outside friendships could be triggering and traumatic to a relationship. So I'm not saying that you should. I think there should be a community of people that your spouse is a part of, like you're all part of the same world. And if it's not, you need to get it there. But at the end of the day, this is your primary relationship. And every other relationship comes secondary and tertiary and so on and so forth from there. This is the primary one, and everything should complement and supplement this primary relationship with your spouse. Okay? So philia love is different than the other types of love. It is not driven by physical attraction, though that's important. It is deeply meaningful. Does that make sense? Not just lighthearted and fun like Ludus love, which is really important because you want to have friendship. You want to be kind. You want to be playful. You want to keep that energy alive. But this is a different type of friendship. It's not based upon obligation or force. It's based upon connection and acceptance. It is specific. It's the thing that drives couples together. And so the question is, what if I'm in a relationship with my spouse, but I just don't like him or her? We've been married for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and life has beat us up. Life has torn us down. We're dealing with financial issues. We're dealing with these kids. We're dealing with past hurts that we've never healed from. There's miscommunications and misunderstandings, and we just can't seem to get back on track. I don't know if friendship is even possible. I mean, I'm with them for the kids and for the finances, and I'm with them because I feel trapped. I'm with them because that's what my religion tells me to do. I'm with them because, I'm the only one in my family who's ever been married and stayed married longer than X amount of years. Everybody else is getting into divorce. So I feel like I gotta be in this to prove myself to myself and to prove to everybody else what's possible. So I'm in the right thing sometimes for the wrong reasons. Why? And it could feel like I'm trapped because I don't have a true friendship. See, when you are friends with your spouse, a 20-year marriage can seem like 10. But when you're not friends with your spouse, a 10-year marriage can seem like 20. Right? So this is what we call the time emotion quotient. Time flies when you're having fun. But if you're involved in an experience that doesn't bring you joy, but brings you bitterness and pain, a moment can feel like an eternity. So how do we get back to this friendship? Because there's power in having deep friendships and connections within the realm of your marriage. Friendship, I heard this quote, it is not just about having fun. It's about walking through life together. The Bible says, can two walk together unless they be in agreement? If we are not in agreement with how we do life, with how we raise kids, with how we use our finances, with the forms of entertainment, where we want to worship in church. Like if we're not in alignment and on the same page, we're constantly in discord. We're moving in two opposite directions, and that presents a problem long term. And so if you truly want to build a friendship, you've got to, first of all, make a decision that this is what you want. I think it's critically important that first you've got to reflect on what has happened to us, because there was a time when we were friends. There was a time where we did connect, where we did enjoy each other, where we were connected. And something happened over the course of time that took us in a downward slope. And if we're going to have a real conversation about it, let's talk about it so we can figure out how to get back on track. I want to give you some specific techniques that are going to help you restore the relationship that was lost, or develop a relationship that you've never had. And the relationship I'm talking about is one of friendship. But listen, you're watching a Couples Academy show. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. If you are in need of help and you're looking for services, Couples Academy is the place where you can go. Watch this commercial. We'll be right back. All right, you're watching the Couples Academy show. Those are our services. If you're in need of help, all you need to do is click on the link below. It's in the description. You could set up a discovery call or simply text us. Call us at 678-200-8996. Let us be the choice for you. There's so many people out there that do a great job. But consider us. If you've been watching us for so long, you know the heart of our ministry, what we're here to do, and how we can serve you. So let us be a part of your recovery process. We're talking about Philia love, the friendship type of love, and how to begin to restore it when it was lost. Because the fact of the matter is, the first thing you have to do, you have to acknowledge that it has drifted, that we are no longer anchored in a foundation. There has been a slow drift, not rapid, but slow. So slow that sometimes you can't even feel it happening. But once you look back, you're like, oh my God, how did we get this far apart? It happened with every decision. It happened with each new day. It happened with subtle compromises. It happened with every argument, every misstep, every misunderstood word, every unresolved conflict. And slowly but surely, you are physically close to one another, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually far apart. So you got to make a decision that you want to rebuild. And wanting to rebuild, you have to have a clear understanding of the why. Why do I really want this? Why is this important to me? Then you got to define what a friendship actually means. Like, having working operational definitions are critically important if you're going to be friends with the person that you've signed up to spend the rest of your life with. So define the word. Matter of fact, on a work day, why don't you sit down and write friendship on a piece of paper, or get a whiteboard and write friendship across the whiteboard. And each of you grab a marker and you write down certain behaviors and attitudes and actions that are reflective of what a friend is. Like, what does a friend mean to you, babe? Write it down on the board. What does a friend mean to me? This is what it means to me. And then have a conversation about that and create a shared understanding, a shared definition that represents each of your interests and expectations, and let that be the new foundation, the new defining theme for your marriage. Now, once you've decided to be friends, and this is a journey that you want to be on, you got to understand the way forward is back. The way that you go into your future is by first acknowledging your past. You get a rubber band of fly by pulling it back, and it makes a quantum leap forward. So going back simply means acknowledging what got you to the broken place in the first place. And once you have a true heartfelt conversation where the walls are down, the ego's removed, the hurt is gone, like, you're not trying to defend and protect your reputation. You are willing to own your stuff and acknowledge your shortcomings and the things that have gone wrong. That is the first step. Once that is done, then you apologize with empathy, with compassion, with humility, with authenticity, with genuineness. You apologize for what has happened, and what you have done. A heartfelt apology can heal wounds. But when you give an apology, it doesn't just come with words. There must be actions and deeds that support those words. So last night, spoiler alert, I'm on the last episode of the TV show that we're taping that's going to be coming out in a couple months. And so we're in there, cameras are all around us. And I'm saying to the individual, I said, listen, you have done a good job articulating your remorse. Now I need you to demonstrate your remorse. What do you plan on doing? Because words without actions oftentimes mean nothing. You may articulate how you feel, but you have to demonstrate how you feel. You may articulate your love and dedication to a friendship, but now you have to demonstrate it with deeds and actions. And so once you've apologized for your ways, now you have to begin to walk your talk. People say real talk. Real talk. No, real walk. Are you walking out what you are talking out? That is the true basis of a friendship. And when you begin to do those, then things begin to shift and change. The last thing you want to do is, if you're walking in the direction of developing this relationship and having a true friendship, now you want to figure out, okay, so what are our common goals and interests? Because if we're friends, that means we like spending time together. We like engaging in conversation together. We like doing things together. Like, when I get together with some of my friends, one of the things that I love to do, we play pool. Literally, I could be on that pool table 5-6 hours straight and lose track of time because we both enjoy it. While you're playing pool, you're listening to music, you're having conversation, there's a competition, there's wins, there's losses, even though I don't lose, generally speaking. It's fun. It's fun. And when you're having fun, time flies and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe it was 5 hours. Yo, when can we get together again? Right? So you're in anticipation of more quality time. When I'm with a friend, I love engaging in intellectual conversations because I love it. Like someone to expand my mind, to put some information in me that I didn't know, or for us to go back and forth and build on a concept. That's what I like to do. That is something that brings me joy. What is your thing? What do you like to do? What do you do with your friends? What can now you and your spouse do together with each other, for each other, that brings you that same joy, that brings you that same fun element, that brings you that connection that you have with other people? So if you have to press the restart button and start from scratch in order to get there, do that. The future that you want in your relationship can be there. So the past isn't always an indication of what is always going to be. You can make an intentional decision to do something different, to be something different, to have something different, and you will get the results that you're looking for. Guys, we're talking about Philia love, which is the foundation of a long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationship. Listen, I hope you got something out of today's conversation. I want to encourage you, sign up for the 28-day love challenge. It can be a game changer for your life and for your marriage. Hope you got something. Watch this video with your spouse. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of the Couples Academy show. Take care, guys. We love you.